breaking generational curses one episode at a time. You are now up and stuck with the Perpetual Motion Podcast. The only motion is perpetual motion. Perpetual motion.
My name is Mark Harsley, and I'm your host of Perpetual Motion Podcast. I got my boy Zeke behind the board with us tonight, and we are very honored to have a very special guest with us this evening in the person of Miss Tasha. I'll let her introduce herself, all of her accolades, but this is a very special episode. I'm excited to have her with us. We're going to get into some conversation today that really is going to span a spectrum of different things, and I'm really excited, really, just to be able to have a conversation. And I want to give her an opportunity to introduce herself, her platform, and then we'll jump kind of right into some questions and some conversation.
Sounds good. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I am Natasha Cheatham. Most know me as Tasha Marie. Some know me as Tasha Mac. If you know, you know. Transparently Tasha on Instagram. Let's see. Man, where do I even begin about me? I mean, really, I'm a Jane of many trades, master of my days. That means I dibble and dabble in quite a few things. But right now I am exploring my craft as a mixologist, as a bartender. I have a nonprofit that I've been running for the last 7, going on 8 years now. We go by Mercy. I love the work that I do in recovery and advocacy. That's definitely my main thing at the moment. I'm an artist by many ways. I write. I'm a voice artist, so I do voiceover. I sing. Let's see, what else? I feel like there's like a laundry list.
Yeah, there is. That's why I said I can't even begin to start running the list down myself because there's so many.
Yeah, I mean, I've been afforded a life where I have been able to explore any and everything that I want to explore. And I feel like I'm really just getting started for real.
Just getting started. Speaking of just getting started, because you forgot something in that long.
Oh, man, what did I forget?
Laundry list of things, actually.
Okay.
You have anything come out on any large platforms? Oh, man.
Well, I thought you were like going to ask about that or something. Like,
Okay,
I didn't know I needed to say it.
No. We don't say you don't have to do the promote yourself. No, I just wanted to.
Okay.
This was my opportunity to jump in there. We will get into that maybe a little bit later, but just tell me. I want to actually, because I do know, and I have, heard this, and I want to give people an opportunity who don't know just a little bit of your background. I think it's so, powerful in whatever way you want to share.
Yeah, sure thing. So, like, personal background, professional background, a mix of the two.
Yeah, mix
okay.
of the two.
Okay, sure thing. Oh, man, again, where to start?
Yeah.
Let's see. I feel like if I start with professional, I can better ease into personal. So professionally, my background spans, 20 years now? That's crazy to say.
Don't think don't start thinking about it too hard.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so my background spans about 20 years, from customer service to hospitality, healthcare, administrative, so working more office, front desk. I have been in food service. What else have I done? And I'm listing these things because it's all relevant. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm forgetting something like major. Obviously, like I said, I've been running a nonprofit. So then there's all the things that come with that professionally. So there's then the entrepreneurship hat as well. Yeah, I think that about covers all that I've done. Oh, I've also worked in a grocery store and at a gas station. It's like I've done a lot of different things. And again, going back to that piece of I was afforded the space and opportunities to explore multiple things. And so I have 2 degrees, an associate's and a bachelor's, both in exploratory or general studies. And just really quick, I want to talk to students out there, especially like new students, just real quick. If you are unsure about what you want to do, yet you know or have an interest in going to college. Do yourself a favor, and if it is available, choose exploratory or general studies. It'll save you some headache and some debt. Do not let anyone bully you into committing to something before you are ready to commit to it. I just wanted to say that because I was afforded that opportunity, but many folks don't know that that is an available pathway for them. So with that said, I was pre-nursing for the bulk of the beginning of my college career, and even my working career. And I eventually was like, yes, I want to help people, but not in this way.
Right.
And then from healthcare, that's really when I went into like the nonprofit sector, really getting interested in it through volunteership, actually. And that has been a whirlwind, that's for sure. Being in the nonprofit sector and then starting a nonprofit, honestly, not too long after entering that sector in the first place. I've always known that I wanted to help people. Even as a young person, I was like, I want to be like a counselor or something. But that wasn't the path that was encouraged. Nursing was the path that was encouraged because my folks that were in my ear wanted me to have some type of job security, essentially.
I think that was all of our...
Right. And so while I enjoyed nursing, there were aspects of it that I was like, I don't want to have to do that. And they were aspects that I could not get around because that was how the path was set to get your nursing degree. So it was just like, you know what, let me find something else. So I found myself in like looking into healthcare administration, things of that nature. I liked it, but it still wasn't it. And from there, I started the nonprofit. I took a break from school for a minute and started the nonprofit because I was like, what I want to do, I think I have to create. Like, I don't think it fits in any of these boxes, pre-made boxes, if you will, that are available to me. So yeah, I started Mercy in 2018. I started my recovery journey in 2017. And I started Mercy in 2018. And I really started Mercy for a few reasons, mostly inspired by my mom. May she rest. She passed in 2020, but watching throughout most of my life, watching her struggle with diagnosed mental illness, substance abuse, definitely is a huge inspiration as to why I started Mercy. I always felt like if my mom had more options, better options, actual solutions to what she was facing, she could have been okay. Like, she could have had a much fuller life. I felt like she could have known peace sooner rather than later. So yeah, that's why I started Mercy. And like I said, just the personal background, gave a little bit about my mom. I also have diagnosed mental illness and in recovery from substance abuse myself. I celebrated 2017. Almost 10 years. That's
10
crazy.
years.
Wow. Didn't even realize that.
Time flies when you have
Yeah.
fun.
Listen, no, for real. Like, recovery has been such a beautiful journey for me. It was never solely about not using substances. Like, I led with the thought of, I want to know self-control. I want to learn moderation. I practiced abstinence, for the length that I did, but after a while, I was like, it wasn't that these substances were necessarily a problem. Some of them were. But like, alcohol, I love a good wine, you know what I mean? It was more so the excess, and so setting out to just be more mindful in my consumption, like just all the way around the board. Recovery has given me the space to really explore the various pathways that I can be well.
This is why there's so much. There's so many different
I know
that we can go down from here. And
yeah,
this is one of the things, like having the benefit and the pleasure of knowing you. I think you've been very instrumental in my own journey because of where our paths, collided. And, I think at first a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And then more recently at the end of last year.
Right.
But one of the things that I've always admired about you is that you're always moving. You're always doing something, and that's intentional. But so is rest, and so is making time. And you have a whole philosophy around rest and hospitality. You touched on a lot of different things, but I want you to talk about why it's important to rest in the midst of all of the movement and motion. And while this platform is, in a way, encouraging the people to keep moving forward, I want you to kind of remind them why it's important to pause, breathe, rest, and be intentional about that.
Absolutely. I mean, you can only keep moving forward if you rest.
Absolutely.
Like I don't think perpetual motion or to keep moving forward means to do it at the expense of yourself, even though that's how most people tend to look at it and think of it and even embody it. Rest is important because it's the only time that our bodies heal. Rest is important because sometimes you just need to be still. Sometimes we be doing too much.
Right. Absolutely.
Sometimes you just need to be still. Real talk. But also rest is important because it gives you space and time to get to know yourself. Like many of us, I feel like, do not know ourselves well enough to know and listen to our bodies, to know we need to be still, to know that, even if I don't go to sleep, I at least need to rest my eyes for a second. You know what I'm saying? But we'll be like big kids just fighting it, So, yeah, no, I have my philosophy about rest simply because throughout my life, I have been forced to rest because I would push myself too hard. I wouldn't listen to myself. A myriad of health issues that run through my family that I've experienced myself, I don't know why I was like pushing so hard,
Chasing something, you feel like? Or there was an idea. What were you after?
If I'm being perfectly honest, I think I was running from various aspects of myself. Yeah. Like trying not to face certain things, trying not to deal with certain feelings, especially when it comes to like grief, because grief is so layered, and we grieve so many different things in different ways. Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of for sure. But yeah, after getting sat down, after so many times, it was like, okay. The one that really got me to say, okay, I need to figure something out. I got to change something. The sit down in 21 is what really got me to go, okay, I got to do something different. In 2021, I had COVID, like many folks, I experienced COVID directly. Ended up with pneumonia as well. My body pretty much started to shut down, and I went into liver failure. Didn't know I went into liver failure. Only found out I went into liver failure because I ended up having an episode of psychosis. It was my first and to this day only episode of psychosis. But it's a wild time. That sit down, that sat me down for a minute. Because it was the recovering from COVID. It was recovering from the liver failure. It was honestly recovering and trying to figure out what happened in the midst of that episode of psychosis. And so it was when I was in the hospital, one of the times during all of that time, because there was multiple hospitalizations. One of the times I was in the hospital, I remember two things. I remember discovering or rediscovering the Nap Ministry on Instagram, Trisha Hersey, and rediscovering that or discovering it for the first time I was just like, yo, never heard anybody talk about rest in this way, that like it's mandatory, that rest is a part of our liberation. Like I had never heard anything of the sort. And I was just like, she's talking my language. And also in that moment, I was just like, God, something got to shake. Something got to give. Like I was almost out of here. Like I could have very easily passed away, like without even knowing, had I not went into that state of psychosis. And that was scary for multiple reasons. I've always had this thing about like who's going to tell my story if I'm not here. Like if I choose to not have children and all of these different things, like who's going to tell my story? Not because, you know, it's so important, but just so much like I want folks to I want folks to know that I was here. You know, I believe that all of our stories have significance, to be perfectly honest, to somebody. If that only somebody is yourself, like our stories have great significance. And so, yeah, I was like, okay, God, I was like, after this, I'm going to do things differently. I was like, create a lane for me to rest and retreat for a living. And that's the way that I'll go. Yeah. And it has been quite the journey since 21. We're 26 now. Yeah. It has been quite the journey, and my experiences from before 21, but especially since, have led me to create a framework that can be applied across various disciplines and sectors, so that care is the standard and not an afterthought.
That's you're so much in all of that you share. And I just want to, and I haven't had an opportunity to do this yet, but thank you for sharing and being so vulnerable. And I know your Instagram handle is transparently Tasha, and that's a part of who you are. But you are, to me, the embodiment of why being transparent is so important, because your freedom, your transparency opens the door for that for people around you. And I've certainly experienced that with you. And one of the things that I love about you is your spirit, your willingness to coach and help and support. So you went from experiencing recovery and going through that journey to helping other people in their own journey, but not just with the steps or whatever's a part of that recovery journey, but also with helping individuals find their voice within that. I had an opportunity to kind of like watch you present a young lady who you had coached over several, weeks. I'm not sure if it was months, but had an opportunity to work through her story. Like, just tell me what it was like to find your voice in the midst of a lot of what I know was chaos and a lot of different things going on. Yeah. And how do you help other people like kind of find that voice? I'm so sorry. It's all good. We all good. And we can edit too. So.
Perfect. It was me trying to put D&D on because I could hear dings, and I'm like,
and if nothing else, it would just be add some more character into that.
Right. Period. Yeah. So repeat the question for me. My bad.
So knowing that you yourself have went from recovery to coaching others through their own recovery journey, what have you learned from finding your own voice about helping people find their voice amongst chaotic situations? Because I happen to feel that there's always some type of distraction. And one of the things that I've seen you do well is handle that chaos and, keep it moving. So how do you find your voice and, keep it moving?
Let me first say, I feel like me responding well in chaos is still very new.
Okay. For all of us.
It is still
That's
very
that real
new.
Maturity.
Listen, it is still very new. Almost like yesterday new. I'll give myself a couple of months, maybe even about a year. But I mean, it still is very new. I for the longest time would just absolutely panic and flail in crisis. Finding my finding my voice, I feel like really started when I was a kid. I used to be very shy, very quiet, very even more introverted than I am now. And I got picked on a lot. And
That didn't last long.
It did, but I felt like over time I learned how to let people know.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Can I curse?
Yeah. I don't know.
That's why I asked beforehand. No, that's why I asked. Okay, I got you. See, I asked beforehand. But yeah, so
the babies might be listening.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair. That's why I asked. But yeah, like used to get picked on a lot. But finding my voice actually came through advocating for my mom. So around the age of like 10, give or take, I started going to appointments with her when I could. And I started paying attention to how they would treat her. And at times they would be dismissive. They would not, listen. They would be paying too much attention to like her demeanor and not what she was saying. And there was just like a lot of different things that I noticed. Again, being an only child of an only child, you learn to be invisible after a while because I was always attached to my mom's hip. And, typically in our community, a child needs to stay in their place, like stay out of grown folks' business, etc. Well, a lot of times I was the only kid. So there was no.
You just end up by yourself.
Yeah, I end up by myself. And oftentimes I would wander back into or near those spaces so that I could hear the conversation because it was always some juiciness. But you also just learn a lot from the folks around you, But yeah, going to her appointments definitely helped me to find my voice. And when it comes to advocacy specifically, especially for someone else, finding my voice for myself and self-advocacy probably started around the same time, but I didn't get very confident in it until probably my 20s. Yeah. Because, I advocated for myself, like, at the age of 11. I had my gallbladder taken out. And all I kept saying was, like, I don't feel good. I don't know how else to tell you something is wrong other than I don't feel good. And, kept getting waved off and dismissed and all of that. And one day I double over in excruciating pain, go to the hospital, and find out I have gallstones. Like, oh, well, no wonder you don't feel good. This has been going on based on what these stones look like and da-da-da-da-da. This has been going on for X amount of time and all of these different things. I do think that taught my mom and grandpa to listen to me a little bit closer, a little bit better. But that definitely was like my first note of like, I need to learn how to advocate for myself. Like I need to learn the words so that people will listen. Man, just thinking about like myself at that age, like it's dope. But like in my 20s, I learned to advocate for myself simply because, and I found my voice a little bit better in my 20s because of some things that I had faced in terms of being married around that age, really starting to work like big girl jobs, if you will, like, and things of that nature, and just learning how to not let folks just walk all over me. And over time, like, and really throughout my life, I've always been told I'm too honest, or I'm too blunt, or things of that nature. I feel like I've learned to tone it down. I definitely used to be very callous at one point. I've definitely learned to be more gentle, more intentional with my truth, with honesty. But finding your voice in the midst of chaos sometimes you find it because you got to dig from somewhere, you know? I feel like a lot of times we're kind of forced to, so to speak, just because I feel like we all learn at some point, if you don't speak up for yourself, somebody will, and it may not be in your favor.
It may not be in your favor, and it may not represent you in the way that you would represent yourself in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
That's exactly why when even seeking out this studio space or even creating this platform, it's like I'd been on other platforms, but there was something about being able to have some control of the narrative in the story and how I get to represent, myself. Like that seemed powerful to me. I want to kind of like switch and transition a little bit into what you're excited about, because I know that we have this amazing thing that's happened recently where you're going to have an opportunity to hopefully reach millions of homes.
Yes.
I was not supposed to do that. Look, he was like,
I was trying to keep a straight face.
Listen,
I was like, he told you not to bump
it. He told me not to do it. Sorry, he told me not to do it. I did it anyway. Hopefully it doesn't mess up. But there's this very exciting thing that's happened. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about it. We kind of mentioned it before, and then I want you to touch on that and maybe anything else that you're excited about as you're experiencing. You're meeting tons of people at the bar. When you're there, you're in community spaces. You're acting as a coach and in other spaces. So, like, what is happening? What are you excited about right now that is happening?
So how you ended the last thing you said honestly was a great segue into what I'm excited about, because you were talking about like we had talked about how someone else will speak up for you or someone else will tell your story. And so I had the opportunity for someone to help me tell my story. And so Naptown Narratives is a documentary series based here in Nap. And I was chosen.
Shout out Murdoch.
Shout out to Murdoch and Circle City Storytellers, Lakeisha Lorraine with Love and Life Productions. Naptown Narrative Season 4, I was chosen as the feature, which was really exciting because I had literally just had surgery and was coming off a hiatus, honestly. And so this was like the thing that welcomed me back. Wow. So it was just a really dope opportunity to be able to have my story captured. And it was the whole red carpet for the premiere. Like, it was honestly a really dope experience that I wasn't entirely ready for, but that's a conversation for another time. But right now, Naptown Narratives Season 4 is now available on Tubi. So I'm like super, super excited about that. Like, that was just really dope. Like when I got the email that they were, working out the distribution deal, I was just like, this is crazy. Like, what? So I'm very, very much excited about that. I'm also excited. I was just named a social media partner for Heartland Film for their upcoming Indie Shorts Festival. So that festival is next month, the end of July, where you get to watch all of these great short films, oftentimes before they're in theaters, things of that nature. Awesome. I've been a social media partner with them multiple times now over the last year, and it is such an amazing experience. I have such a great time with them. So yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait to have more people be able to learn more about your story through going to Tubi, watching your season of Naptown Narratives. I've watched it twice now, and I am just honored to know you. I know there are things that I'm excited about that we're working on outside of the pod between Kite and Mercy, and I just applaud you for being one of the true lights in our community. This platform, I feel like, is meant to touch a lot of different people across the spectrum, but what I find is that you check off so many boxes, you know, right? Entrepreneur, you know, visionary, artist, you know, voice actor, you have speaker, you have so many different abilities, and you've poured that into other people. You, like I said, you've been very instrumental in my journey, keeping me supported. So even able to get to this journey, you've helped me and through some very difficult seasons. So I want to publicly, you know, acknowledge you for that, and my personal appreciation for you being a part of my journey. And I look forward to the collaborations. We have talked about some really, really dope things
Absolutely.
over the past, I don't even think year yet.
No,
like
not
7
yet.
months, 7, 8 months. There's some exciting things to come. I definitely will be following up with more opportunities for you to talk and share
Cool.
what you have, you know, going on. And I know you'll be in the studio and around the space in the future as well. So is there anything in closing that you want to say, anywhere you want people to go? And then we'll kind of close things out from there.
Okay, sounds good. Really the only thing that I would like to say at this point is, you know, stay connected. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Transparently Tasha. You can also find me on Patreon, either Transparently Tasha or The Rest Stop. There you can get access to guided meditations and behind the scenes and all of the good stuff that I have going on. I'm working on a couple of writing projects as well that I didn't get a chance to mention this time, but definitely will be back.
Absolutely.
To talk about, right?
Part one for sure.
Absolutely. So Patreon definitely is the way to not only stay connected, but to actually build community with me. So upcoming events and different things, a lot of that is going to be available on Patreon first. And it may not make it to other platforms. So definitely connect with me on Patreon.
Well, we want to thank you, and we appreciate you for sharing your platform, your voice with us.
Gratitude.
And for those of you out in the audience, if you feel like you want to be able to share your story, send us a DM on our platform. We're very interested in having other community members, leaders on to share about themselves. And we thank you for spending some time with us today. And we'll be what? All right. I know. Well, I was looking at the wrong camera, and I promise we ain't gonna close like this. But we appreciate y'all listening to this episode of Professional Motion Podcast with our guest Tasha Mac. That's what I'm gonna call her for now. And we'll holler at y'all next time. Peace.